Hey loves, remember that if you are going to manifest, always visualize and imagine for the end rather than steps. It's going to go so much quicker and so much easier. You've definitely heard Neville Goddard, Joseph Murphy, and every single manifestation coach talk about how it's so much better to visualize for the end rather than in steps. Now, I would say there is a time and place to manifest in steps. So if you feel like you're doing that right now, you're not doing anything wrong. It's just usually quicker and easier to manifest for the end because it's much easier to fully encompass that state. So if you haven't already, I want you to take a moment and really think of what you would desire in your end if you had no limitations. One of the things I always like to talk about when it comes to this sort of thing is to imagine or pretend as if you're talking to a genie that can grant you absolutely any wish that you want. What is it that you would ask for? Would you ask for your specific person? Would you ask for someone else? Would you ask for $1 billion, $1 trillion, the perfect house? Whatever it is, do not allow it to limit you. Because if you think and act and feel from a state, you absolutely must have that in your reality. But back to the difference of manifesting for the end and manifesting in steps. Right now, I want you to imagine that you are going to go to the airport. So you take out your phone and you put it in Google Maps or Apple Maps or whatever it is. Think about as you put that in and as you logically know that you're going to go to the airport, you start to imagine all of the places that you are going to cross or pass as you get there. So let's say on the way to the airport, you pass the zoo, you pass the post office, and you pass the supermarket. If in your maps, your Google Maps, Apple Maps, whatever it is, you put in the destination of the airport, you know for a fact you're going to pass all of those destinations without even trying. And that is the concept of manifesting for the end. As you go specifically for the end, you are going to pass all of those logical points along the way or the bridge of events that are going to lead you to that point. But instead, let's say you wanted to imagine or manifest in steps. That would look a little bit differently from putting in that end destination. If you wanted to manifest in steps, you would be thinking, okay, I want to go to the airport, but I know along the way we pass the zoo. So I'm going to think of or try to go to the zoo. So in your Apple Google Maps, you're going to put in the zoo, thinking that going to the zoo is going to lead you to going to the airport, which is technically true, but you could get there much easier by just putting in the airport. But again, that's kind of the difference between manifesting for the end and then manifesting for steps or in steps. Think of you in your manifestation of your specific person. So you're going to know along the way, if you're imagining being married, then you must be dating, you must be engaged. All of those must occur to then get you to that endpoint. Again, that's like putting in the airport. You must pass all of those logical steps along the way. And also remember that your subconscious mind is a part of you and knows exactly what you want. So if you are going to imagine for the absolute end and you know it's going to be perfect, and that involves internally, you know you want to be engaged for a year or whatever it is, by thinking upon that end, your subconscious is going to bring you all of the assumptions that you are also associating with that. Now, again, I will say there are times and moments in which I would say to manifest in steps, and that would be if you're really having a very difficult time feeling or assuming the end, if it feels like it's way too out of reach mentally. Truly, there's nothing that is out of reach, but sometimes we can have ourselves feeling that way. So in that time, or the time being in that state, we want to manifest in steps because it's going to help us get into that feeling. Like imagine going back to our metaphor. If you're having a really hard time thinking that you can get to the airport, thinking or imagining going to the zoo, a step along the way, that's going to improve your confidence. And then maybe this next time you'll be able to fully feel and encompass the feeling of being at the airport. It does showcase one of the main things of why, again, I would always recommend manifesting for the end rather than manifesting in steps. Because if you manifest in steps, imagine putting in all of the destinations along the way in your phone getting to the airport. It's going to take much more time going and arriving at each of these destinations along the way as compared to just putting in the end goal of exactly what you want. But again, do not feel like anything can limit you during this process. Go back to that idea. Act as if you were talking to a genie or talking to your higher self, and it can grant you absolutely any wish that you want. Go and act for that. Because your subconscious and your reality is going to give you exactly what you ask of it. So why not ask for exactly what you want and what you desire? Going along this map metaphor, I also want to mention that you should always listen and allow your intuition to guide you the entire time. That's going to be that inspired action that leads you to exactly what you want. Because when you're thinking, acting, feeling, and assuming the end has already been here and you're living it at this current moment, you must take upon all of the states and assumptions that associate with that. With this in mind, you're going to be automatically guided to do, feel, and act in a way that aligns with that because you have fully encompassed that state. And whenever I have an intuition or a feeling to do something, I always imagine it like it's the Google Maps or the Apple Maps of like turn left at the light or turn right at this next sign. It's that sort of direction coming from your subconscious. Which is funny because most successful people actually talk about this same idea. They talk about acting on those feelings or intuitions that they have. And personally, for me, and also within my coaching sessions, I have never found an intuitive feeling to fail. It absolutely always leads you exactly where you need to go because, again, you're coming and assuming and acting from that state. So it's going to give you divine knowledge and divine action. So if you ever begin to worry about if you should be manifesting or thinking from the end or manifesting in steps, I want you to come back to this video. Understand and know that it is always within your ability to imagine or think from the end. And also, it can sometimes kind of create a limiting belief that you actually feel like you can't do it if you begin to manifest in steps. Think about it. If we were truly under the assumption that we can ask for and have anything that we want, why would we ever ask for anything less? So if we know and are under the belief that we can have our specific person, why would we ever only ask for a date? If we can be married to them, why would we ever ask for literally anything less? So thinking and acting from the end, and not only is going to bring your manifestation much sooner, it's going to create the belief and the feeling and assumption that you can have anything that you want. But again, like I mentioned, if you are manifesting the steps or you can't really fully grasp the idea or the assumption or get into the state of the end feeling, I would say you can absolutely manifest in steps if you want, but I want you to get to your manifestation and your specific person in the absolute quickest way possible. Let me know if you did have any questions about this in the comment section below. Remember, you can also reach out to me for any questions or for one-on-one coaching at kyleaugustcoaching.com. Also remember, don't forget to leave a thumbs up on this video and then also don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for stopping by today, and I'll see you in the next video.